What do you want to do?
I don't know. We don't have an intro or anything. Podcast 15 episode. Well, podcast episode 15. Yeah, this is our
each
podcast.
Yeah, it's this. Where they're different every time.
They keep failing, so we just keep putting out a new one with a different name and a different title, just giving it a shot. So welcome to our 15th podcast.
One of them has to hit.
Eventually, one of them has to hit. That's what happened to me. I almost hit at like 25, and then finally someone hit me. So
I thought you were talking about like
I was talking about
like asking. Oh, I thought you were saying like asking girls out in high school. You're like, one of these has to hit.
Yeah, you ask out. We had 500 people in our graduating class. You ask out. There was like 250 girls. You ask out 250. One of them's bound to say yes, right?
Say yes.
Yeah. And if you like both men and women, that's 500 chances. Do it up. Go for it. One of them's bound to hit, right?
One of them's bound to hit.
Welcome, episode 15. This is the Marvel section. If you watch the sports section, welcome to this one. If you didn't, go ahead and check that out if you like it. If you don't like sports, well, welcome to this one. And, hope you like this one because this is all you're getting. Then, yeah, we are here. We are mentioned it that we are closer. We are same distance to episode 30 as we are to episode 0. It's pretty impressive, Most podcasts barely make it past episode 12. It's 15.
Yeah, got 15 states over here.
That's legal age of marrying in West Tennessee, Nebraska. There's a state.
I know the age of consent is like 14 in Kentucky. So
yeah, Kentucky. Yeah, you can legally get married. Our podcast could get married in some states. I mean, it's not 15 years old, but you get it. Anyway,
that doesn't stop some people.
Anyway, Marvel section of the podcast. Welcome. Hope you enjoy. If you do, like, subscribe, traditional, all the YouTube BS that everybody has to say, like, subscribe. Blah, 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 blah. So, big thing that I thought that was interesting. Big thing that I wanted to talk about, because we mentioned that there was like 9 unnamed Marvel projects that were in the work. There are now 31.
It's not unnamed though. So this is just how I understand it's like in development. So like She-Hulk's one of them, Secret Invasion's one of them,
Blade,
Guardians 3, Guardians Holiday Special, Blade, you know what I mean?
It was
Deadpool 3.
Shows, movies, and specials. And I think specials is where they're gonna throw in like,
that's the holiday
specials. Like, yeah, I think there's gonna be a lot of specials that like add up those numbers quickly. Yeah. So there's 31 now. That's huge. That's way more than 9. In fact, that's 22 more than 9. We're not a math podcast, but we could be at this point.
We could be. We're genius.
Listen to these maths. There's so much. You don't like words, or you want words, data, languager.
Yeah. Or mather.
Yeah. If you want a math podcast, go see a mather. One of those projects of the 31 is Eternals.
Yes, it is. Coming out November 6th.
Sure. Eternals also had some crazy news. Their production was delayed because there was a bomb found on set in the Cayman Islands, confirmed by Kumail Nanjiani. I don't want to pronounce his name incorrectly because I feel like that's disrespectful.
Kumail Nanjiani, I think.
I feel like it's disrespectful to call people by the wrong name. But anyway, he did say, confirmed, they found a bomb, and he was like, there was a bomb where?
Right.
So they found a bomb on set, unexploded,
obviously,
but they did have to. Right, I thought that was funny that was included in the headline.
Unexploded or like unarmed?
Unexploded.
Well,
obviously. It's like, Hawkeye still has his Ronin tattoos. Well, he's not gonna laser him off. Yeah, this bomb was unexploded, otherwise there would be no set. So yeah, but anyway, still crazy news. This unexploded bomb.
I wonder if hear me out here though. Iron Man is gone, right? Happy, who's usually the security guy, he's probably looking after Morgan right now while Pepper Potts is running Stark Industries. So they didn't have the security guy there.
That's probably what it was, because Marvel is real. That's not just a movie or TV.
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's real. That's why when I'll play my YouTube videos for my daughter, and you're there, but you're here.
Yeah.
That's clearly real. Like we exist.
Exactly.
Right?
We're just a different reality.
Speaking of large explosions, Hulk could cause some massive explosions, right?
He could actually. His thunderclap could level a whole city.
I know, and that's one thing I've been wanting in every move. That's why I want.
And it was in Incredible Hulk. It was in Incredible Hulk, and it should have because the helicopter that General Ross and Betty Ross are in is like engulfs in flames, and so Hulk does this thunderclap to like disperse the fire or whatever. But in reality, it should have caused tremors throughout both of their bodies, which would have killed them probably almost instantly. And then it should have basically leveled that whole part of the city. So,
see, and I want Hulk to smash. I want Hulk to. I immediately.
I mean, Bruce Banner. It's probably been a while.
Right. That would look like Nickelodeon slime.
That's where they get it.
All over. But I want Hulk to smash. I want Hulk to get the clap. I want Hulk to just go crazy. Well, Mark Ruffalo was spotted on set. There was a photo taken on She-Hulk. So it's pretty much confirmed he's been in it.
Yeah, I think it was confirmed by the last Disney Investor Day or something.
There was apparently an Easter egg in Shang-Chi that related to She-Hulk. Mark Ruffalo was in the credit scene there. Yeah. So Mark Ruffalo connection there again.
Right.
The set.
Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner.
Right.
Bruce Banner was there.
Bruce Banner. Mark Ruffalo was. The photo of him was taken next to a redheaded extra stunt double. Well, that hair color matched exactly to Jamil's most recent Instagram photo, where she took a photo of herself winking. He was like winking to the camera in a red wig. It's clear that she plays the villain, Titania.
Yeah.
Big fan. It's almost not even a theory at this point. Titania and Hulk are gonna fight it out.
Yeah, and I think She-Hulk and Abomination are going to. I think that's gonna be the. First of all, if that's the case, Hulk's gonna get his ass kicked
by Titania.
That's just what's gonna happen.
Because Hulk's never been able to win a fight that we see him, unless it's against a bunch of miniature villains that he can kill off. Peasants. Yeah. That's the only time Hulk can really go crazy.
Chitauri, Outriders.
Right. Otherwise, it's Loki.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be Abomination's probably going to seem too strong for She-Hulk. I think Titania is going to whoop Hulk's ass, and then I think they're going to flip-flop, and Hulk's going to get his rematch with Abomination, and then She-Hulk's going to get her own villain. That's like her villain.
Okay.
Like it's going to be Titania and Wrecking Crew. That's what I think. That's just theory.
Wrecking Crew, like all three.
Well, the Wrecking Crew is supposed to be in it, I think. Titania is going to lead them, and there's going to be the Wrecking Crew. I don't know.
And do we have any rumored castings on the Wrecking Crew?
I don't know.
Because I think there's an actor that I would love to play Thunderball.
Yeah, Thunderball, Pile Driver, and Bulldozer.
Right. I know the names, but do we have?
No.
Okay.
But the Wrecking Crew also attracts the attention of the Defenders.
I know. Ooh, that could be cool. Fun little bring into a new cast.
Well, I mean, they are doing a She-Hulk is a lawyer. There's also
Charlie Cox is a lawyer. Wait, not Charlie Cox.
Matt Murdock.
Matt Murdock's a lawyer, played by
Charlie Cox. Could be. Who knows?
He can do everything. But yeah, I think that'd be cool. I would love Terry Crews to be Thunderball. I know he's kind of got himself into some hot water in the past year, but I would be all for it. I think he has the perfect mentality for Thunderball, body style. In my opinion, Thunderball should be I would love for them to take the theatrical style Thunderball, not like the evil, dark, sinister Thunderball.
I also think Terry Crews would play an excellent Rhino.
I thought the same. I think Terry Crews would be an awesome Rhino.
An awesome Rhino.
He would be an awesome Rhino. He would just demolish Spider-Man. But yeah, I think Terry Crews would be super good. So if they do bring in the Wrecking Crew, there's my cast. I think they'll go with a bunch of new people for smaller villains like that. Yeah. I think they'll go with unnamed,
like henchmen. I mean, they're like they'll
go with
Flash
cheaper actors.
Quality.
I don't think they'll go big names because it'll be because they're not like a big bad. I don't think they're willing to spend the money because they're going to spend their money on Jameela Jamil, Tatiana Maslany.
It's like a reverse Heroes 3. You know what I mean?
Oh, by the way,
Fondral, Volstagg, and
I was
Hogan.
reading a Marvel article and they spelled Tatiana Maslany wrong. They called her Tatiana Malaya.
And
I was
not
like,
correct.
I was like, that's not even close.
That's not even close.
It was Malaya or Malaya, like MalaYia.
No, that's
I was
not
like,
correct.
That
is incorrect.
And they even had like a link to like click if you wanted to see who she is. And I was like, I'm not clicking that because that's gonna take me somewhere I don't want to go. But yeah, but it way off. It was one of the bigger companies, like the.
That's what I'm getting more hyped
rant.
and more hyped for.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
We've been pretty up there.
Oh yeah.
We've been more hyped for She-Hulk than Miss Marvel and Hawkeye.
Miss Marvel. Yeah, they
especially
released
with the
those
news coming out about Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that little note.
Yeah,
It is
we've
confirmed.
been hearing about that.
It is.
No, but we don't know if it's like an extension of her powers.
It could be an extension, similar to Green Lantern, but it is confirmed.
She's got the
Miss
power
Marvel
bracelets.
is going to have similar powers as Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So those bracelets will be at minimum or at maximum will be an extension of her powers, and at minimum will be
It's all her
powers.
Yeah.
Terrible idea.
So does that doesn't mean so? Are they I don't get that because are they retconning that she's no longer Inhuman?
It could
too?
be. It could be.
That's just dumb.
They could be doing that to delay Inhumans, which I don't
know.
get.
I don't get. You don't have to do that right now because if you think about it,
I thought the same thing.
You make Miss Marvel the first Inhuman, and everyone's like, oh, what are that? What are Inhumans? Then you have Secret Invasion coming out, not directly after, but shortly after. You could drop Daisy Johnson in there as Quake. You got another Inhuman. They're out in space. Where is
Secret Invasion taking place?
Yeah, oh my god, where's the
Guardians of the Galaxy?
It's on the moon. It's the Inhumans. The Inhumans base is on the moon. Atalan.
Okay, I wasn't sure where you were going, so I wasn't going to be very helpful
Atalan
there.
is on the moon, and so like the running joke where Falcon is like, "Oh, Chris Rogers is on the moon" or whatever. He could be.
And Sebastian Stan just said happy birthday to Anthony Mackie and said love you to the moon and back. And people were and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's just a nice thing, and I'm pretty sure he's not gonna put in a Marvel Easter egg in his happy birthday.
Yeah.
But like people took that and ran with it. I was like, Marvel fans, chill out for a day, please.
Yeah.
Like I get it, we're big Marvel fans.
But yeah, I mean, they're afraid to do the Inhumans because that one thing flopped, but that one thing was never canon. It was made by the same dude who did Iron Fist season 1.
Thanos is huge, and Thanos' son is a huge part of the Inhumans. Like he's very involved. So it would be very Thane, by the way, for those of you who know Thane. Inhumans would be another. Inhumans would be. So there, you got the Eternals family, you got Fantastic
They're Guardians
Four,
of the
X-Men.
Guardians of the Galaxy, like team up. Like
I almost enunciated that weird. The X-Men.
Yeah, they're like if you get James Gunn could do it amazingly if they did if they did like a team up in space.
The Russo brothers could also do it very well. Yeah. Now that Scarlett Johansson is settled her case with Disney, the Russo brothers probably can come in and do their job. Yeah. So maybe instead of Secret Wars, they do some Inhumans. I don't know. I think they should not move her away from Inhumans. I hope that's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because
if they do that and they don't make her an Inhuman and they just retcon and she's like, oh, she's no longer an Inhuman because her whole point was like being this young girl being different because she is an Inhuman and having to like go through her life with these superpowers and like I don't know.
I don't want to spin this into anything negative or anything that could be controversial, but maybe if they do retcon it into like where she's human and where she's not unique is that she's just a fangirl, there's millions of fangirls, maybe that they want to move the focus to her culture and her heritage,
right?
So maybe like what they want to say makes her different is that she loves these superheroes and stuff, but she's Middle Eastern. and so they want to do a heavy focus on her culture and her history.
I mean, but you don't have to have the bracelets to do that too.
I'm just trying to think of some reason.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're on the same page when it comes to that, but
like she needs. I think she should still be an Inhuman. She should still have those powers, because you're kind of taking away. I mentioned this before. You have a strong, powerful female character of a different race. And by making her powers primarily in these bracelets that I could take off and put onto somebody else and they have those powers, you take away her power. You take away what makes her so strong. She's now no longer the strong female character. She's a strong female character with bracelets. And her strength comes from her bracelets, not from her.
And you just did something with bracelets, with powered bracelets.
Shang-Chi. Right.
They're probably gauntlets. They're gauntlets, but you just did something with powered gauntlets too. So
it's a very obviously I don't want to prejudge. I think Marvel has made a lot of very smart decisions, especially this new age of Marvel has made a lot of strong decisions. So don't want to judge, but from a preemptive standpoint, this all sounds like very bad decisions, especially because they had the hindsight of fans saying, "Don't take this away from her," and they still did. So I really hope it's just an extension of her powers. Like maybe they enhance her powers further. Maybe they allow her, maybe those allow her to embiggen, but she can still do everything else without them.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I don't want that, but just something like that, because like I said, I want a strong female character that people can watch and where you don't have to reference it. They just see that character. They think, wow, strong female Middle Eastern character. I don't want that to be taken away. Yeah. And by making the powers primarily from the gauntlets, you're taking it away. And I apologize for talking about it for so long, but I feel very strongly about that. Yeah. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you don't want to ruin a character that
her story was like perfect as is.
Amazing.
So you didn't have to change it.
It's a well-written character. A lot of
it is. It debuted and it just soared.
Yep.
It just soared. People loved it.
I would like for them to, I wouldn't mind a little bit of a spoiler just to clarify, because right now my expectations are going to lower for it and I don't want that. But yeah, anyway, that was just one thing I want to talk about. I said she'll be Miss Lantern instead of Miss Marvel, but it's obviously just a little bit of satire. Another Marvel, but now Sony thing that came out. So there was a 4-minute clip.
I just watched it today.
4-minute clip of the birth of Carnage. Very, very, I called it dummy sick because I think that's such a silly phrase.
It's dummy thick.
Dummy thick. I just think that dummy is such a funny addition to things, but it's dummy sick. It was so cool.
It was so cool.
Proves Woody Harrelson's amazing because he's never isn't. He's so good. And even in the 4-minute clip, I'm like, oh yeah, this is going to be good. The early reviews are coming in and there's a lot of people, a lot of fans. It's flipped. The first Venom came out. Critics hated it.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up real quick.
The initial fans liked it, and then critics and the loud fans that hated it got so loud that everybody said they hated it.
But the last Venom was 30% critic and 81% audience.
Exactly. Like critics hated it, fans loved it. And now this new one, critics are giving it a good score and fans are hating it. I didn't look at the actual scores. I was just going based off reviews that I saw.
Oh, it's similar. That's like 60% for critics and 87 per audience.
Okay,
so almost like two times.
It's probably just the loud people I'm seeing, but I've seen a lot of critics giving it good scores, and a lot of fans that are talking about it are talking poorly about it. So obviously, the fans that aren't talking are giving it a good score. But I thought it was interesting how much more critics like this movie.
Oh yeah.
And I think
they seeing the first one, they just didn't understand it.
Right.
They didn't understand.
They thought they wanted dark, brooding Venom, and they're like, they didn't understand that they're changing Venom.
Yeah, they're making Venom more of like what I've seen a lot about this one. It's like a relationship. Like they are
I'm cool with it because it's supposed to be you're a symbiote.
Yeah.
It's a symbiotic relationship, so you're supposed to have a relationship with your host. Like the symbiote dies if the host dies if the symbiote doesn't match. Mm-hmm. So they should be a relationship. However, I do understand where they're coming from because Venom was the first villain from any sort of superhero that genuinely scared me as a kid. I played the original like PlayStation 2 Spider-Man game or PlayStation 1 Spider-Man
and
game.
you were going through the business's office and it was like the lights were dimming, flickering on and off.
Venom came.
You knew Venom was there. Yeah.
And that was the first superhero that scared me. I was like, I was genuinely scared as a kid. Yeah. And I thought, like, I get that's probably what they were looking more for, the critics were looking more for, as well as, you know, the fight scene. You couldn't tell
completely random. What about like the dark Power Rangers when you were young? Did those guys scare you?
The purple guys?
I don't. Yeah,
they didn't scare me because of their colors. I think the bright purple didn't scare me, and I was so focused on the Rangers having such cool powers.
And the pink Power Ranger.
I was gonna say Pink Ranger was distracting for her own reasons, but I mean, both of the female Rangers were distracting for their own reasons as a little boy. But the White Ranger that turned into a pterodactyl. And like they were just, the powers were so cool. It was almost as opposed to Spider-Man of the game where you're in the character.
Yeah.
I mean, and I tend to like envelop myself in a game, which is why I jump scare easily in games and why I don't play horror games, because I feel like I would not be able to sleep.
Right.
In movies, I'm able to, suspension of disbelief, I'm very easily separated from it. And as I get older, I've realized that I'm more and more separating myself from the movie. So I'm trying to suck myself back in. But yeah, so I understand why they criticize Venom that way. But Carnage looks very, very much like the comic
I think they hit
books.
the nail on the head with the CGI for this. It is.
And like, so in the 4-minute clip, I recommend watching it. It doesn't spoil the movie at all. It doesn't spoil anything.
I mean, if you've seen any of the trailers, it's just it's like a continuation of one of the shots. So.
Yeah, if anything, it'll just get you more hyped up. It's super dark, but I love the scene of the guy begging Carnage for his life, saying, I have a family. And that's the guy that Carnage kills the most gruesome way, with his tongue down his throat. The guy that begged
and for that split second, you wished you were in that spot.
Oh, if it was Venom, maybe. He seriously, like, the guy that he kills in the most gruesome way is the one guy that tries to beg for his life. And I think that is a perfect image of what we're going to expect. And he frees all the prisoners. I'm super excited for that movie. That 4-minute clip is awesome. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
We're seeing it tomorrow.
Seeing the movie tomorrow.
7:45. We're seeing it.
I am so excited for it. I can't remember the last time I was this excited for a movie. Yeah, it's been a long time. So I've heard that Tom Hardy's performance steals the show because it's so good.
Yeah, I think they just from what I've read is Andy Serkis really developed the Eddie Brock and Venom relationship, and that is evident throughout the whole movie from start to finish. So
makes sense why critics like it then. And Andy Serkis, Jon Favreau, James Gunn, Andy Serkis, Kevin Feige.
Andy Serkis says he already has thought about the third one if they want him back.
Exactly. Andy Serkis is an artist, and he's so good. I'm all for bringing him into more projects. He's so amazing. He's just
going to be He's going to be Alfred in the Batman.
He's one of the reasons I'm excited to see that, because and Pattinson. I think Robert Pattinson's underrated.
It's going to look good too.
And Colin Farrell.
And Paul Dano.
Apparently Colin Farrell is already in the works of being in the next one.
Like a penguin?
Yeah. So that's cool. But yeah, so that happened. Also with Venom, they released a Snapchat filter for 24 hours that you could do and take pictures and post it on Twitter, and they might react to it or say anything to you. It sucked. I just want to say.
Oh, another thing.
I took a filter and you could see my feet still.
I took naked in front of the.
No, I took a picture in front of my mirror, and they said it because it was supposed to be a full body filter, and the feet were to this. Everything was like kind of on, but then my feet were off to the side, so you could see my bottom of my legs and feet. And then when you took of just your face, it covered you in smoke. So you couldn't really see anything else besides your face. It was just a bad filter.
Got it. Jared Leto tweeted like something about like in support of Venom. So it's good seeing like the Morbius cast kind of pump it up too. So
Jared Leto has been very active and thinks he's been staying lately. Part of that is because he's promoting his new movie that he's in, but another part of it is because he's trying to hype up for Morbius.
Sure.
We mentioned Eternals. I wanted to throw this in. Eternals is projected to be the longest MCU movie ever. They expect it to be almost 3 hours.
I mean, there's a lot of story to tell.
Yeah, that's very cool. But for me that couldn't hold my bladder through all of
Shang-Chi.
I might have to bring like a bag or something.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Yeah, we'll bring bags. I'll bring a McDonald's cup for you.
Speaking of Shang-Chi, though, there was an Easter egg in there. So Xialing, his sister, when she was running her fight club, she had a poster of Red Skull behind her.
Did she?
She did. And at the end, she took over the 10 rings. So, spoiler alert there. At the end, in the end credit scene, Xialing is instead of taking down the 10 rings, she becomes the new owner. I saw people saying that this is basically the equivalent of the MCU equivalent of a swastika. That's a pretty heavy statement to make, considering what happened. The Holocaust is so devastating. So to make that statement, it's pretty broad. But so she had a Red Skull poster.
Right. Yeah. A mural.
Office. It says that's to show that her values might align with Red Skull, and people are saying she might be the new Madam Hydra, and they're setting up to make her the new Madam Hydra.
Red Skull's free now. Red Skull's free from Vormir.
He is.
So
Red Skull's free. She could easily go get him. She's running 10 rings, so having such a large. So 10 rings is supposed to be a global organization. Easily take one down, 3 return. We know that Zola is still alive.
Yeah, Zola's got on a computer somewhere.
Yeah, so just wanted to bring that up. Xialing may be the new Madam Hydra, and if that is true, that would mean that Contessa would be probably training her and would be... She also, like, Contessa also worked with, like, a third party, too. So that could also be a thing. Exactly. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was a very cool story that should get some light, because I think that one has a lot of weight to it.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna look for that. Next on November 12th when Disney Investor Day or Disney Plus Day or something like that comes around, and Shang-Chi's released. So
we were gonna get into what if next, but there's one last thing I actually want to talk about. We were talking about Venom. One last thing with Sony, they have confirmed their long-term plans are Sinister 6. So we mentioned some actors that we'd like to see. We mentioned a few. One of the ones we mentioned was Henry Cavill as Mr. Sinister. Or did we say Cillian Murphy as Mr. Sinister? I think it was Henry Cavill. All I know is that would be awesome, because the Sinister 6 is, you could do so much. You could do Disney Plus shows, even though it's Sony, I guess. So
I mean, Universal,
Netflix.
No, all Sony properties will be on Disney Plus in 2023 and beyond.
Okay, so Sinister 6 is the long plan, so it'd be Disney Plus shows
2020 through 2022. I'm not sure. There's something I'm missing.
Then it would be movies. Like, you could do a series of movies, you could do multiple trilogies, and do so. One thing you and I have always said, the smartest thing, what makes Marvel so much better than DC, they introduce these characters, they throw in a character as a side role for a little bit, then they make them have a solo act, then they throw them in a group, or they put them as a side character, and then another side character, and then they're in a group. Like, we saw Black Panther, Spider-Man in Civil War, we saw Wanda in like a credit scene, and then a side character, and then a group up, and then her soul. Like,
right.
Marvel just knows how to build their universe and build their characters, and I think Sinister 6 is a perfect opportunity of Mr. Sinister can be like Thanos, where you see the littlest glimpse here, the littlest glimpse there, running things from behind, and then all of a sudden, bam, you throw him in, and it's just like this big bad that's like, yeah, I've been running this all along.
Right. Yeah, I think that's kind of where we expect the Norman Osborn to be.
Exactly. You expect Norman Osborn to be like the right-hand man, the wild card that's always going to be killing people, basically.
Right.
But too focused on Spider-Man to get the job done. I can't remember because there's been, I think, six or seven variations of the Sinister 6. Like, there's been times where Norman Osborn was the leader.
Sinister 7. There's been the Sinister 12. There's been,
like, let me just do Sinister 6.
There's the current one though. I don't know.
So yeah, there's been the Sinister. There has been 16 different Sinister 6s.
Yeah.
So we'll just do the founding members. So it's Doc Ock, Electro, Kraven, Mysterio, Sandman, and Vulture.
Yeah, which we've seen. Well, we've seen.
So Norman Osborn wasn't even part of the original one. Hobgoblin was the first recruit beyond those.
Yeah.
And that was in the Amazing Spider-Man Volume 1. So, like, there's, and all of a sudden, then in order, it was Hobgoblin, Gog, Beetle, Scorpion, Shocker, Kraven again, Venom, Grim Reaper, Lizard, Trapster, Chameleon, Rhino, Beetle, Boomerang.
They've teased Chameleon. Chameleon was I want to say Dominic, the bus driver for them in No Way Home. The bus driver.
We also know Ned is going to be Hobgoblin.
Yeah. So the bus driver in Far From Home. The bus driver in Far From Home is something. He's essentially Kraven's brother. He's Kraven's brother.
Well, and Kraven's getting his own movie.
But that guy is Kraven's brother, who eventually turns into the Chameleon.
Okay.
So they teased him.
And so we know Venom's going to be anti-hero. We know Kraven's going to be anti-hero. So
Morbius could be.
So Chameleon could be part of the Sinister Six to combat Kraven. Flash could be anti-Venom to combat Venom.
Yeah.
Ned could be the Hobgoblin version of Sinister Six.
Yeah. There's so many things they can do.
So I think Sinister Six is super smart, especially if you're going to work with Marvel.
You have Electro coming in. You've got all these other guys coming in.
See, but that's the thing. I really I'm fine with these guys coming back for this movie, but I don't want them to be permanent. Like I like.
Yeah, I don't
Alfred
either.
Molina.
I want them to go back to their universes. And I want to see a Spider-Man 4, and I want to see an Amazing Spider-Man 3. That's what I want.
And I don't know if this. I would also want that, by the way. I definitely want that. I want to see another Andrew Garfield done right. I want to see another Tobey Maguire done right, and I want to see continuation of Tom Holland as the primary, as the true timeline.
Yeah.
And what I really want, and I don't know if this is popular, unpopular, but so Into the Spider-Verse had a female Dr. Ock, who was the woman who plays Agatha, was Catherine Hahn, was the voice of Doc Ock.
Yeah, she would have been perfect for Octavius.
I would love Tom Holland's Doc Ock, true Doc Ock, to be a female. I love female Doc Ock.
Yeah, well, here's another thing. We haven't seen Miles yet, and so
I want Miles.
So we haven't seen Miles yet, and Miles' villain in those shows where Scorpion was there.
Yep.
Scorpion was on there. Prowler was there.
Scorpion, Prowler, Doc Ock, Kingpin,
yeah. Chameleon.
Hobgoblin or Green Goblin.
I don't know if that was Chameleon.
One of the goblins.
Yeah, it was. It was like super supreme Green
the
Goblin.
Huge demon goblin, like the actual goblin.
Yeah. So I mean, it very well could be. We haven't seen the Otto or Octavia. What I forgot her name, but of our universe. Like you can't say that those people don't exist in our universe. You know what I mean? Like you can't.
It's almost like the theory of basically all movies where a villain often has somebody in the Saw is a perfect example. There's the villain has somebody in the wake if they were to die or go away. They almost have somebody that either loves them so much from a fan standpoint or somebody that they've been training that'll continue on their mission. Octavius, whatever, she could be like a fan of Doc Ock once he comes over. That's what causes her to be like, I want to be that.
Right.
It could be.
There can be a missing piece that she's trying to figure out with her own tentacles, and that she doesn't know that until she either sees this.
And I also want her to not be controlled by the tentacles. I want her to be evil and in full knowledge of what she's doing.
Yeah.
Because I like that better.
Another one, you've got Shocker somewhere.
I'm not a huge fan of Shocker, but
I'm not either. But he is a small character that can be a part of a team and be better. Same with Scorpion.
We haven't seen much from a business standpoint. I try not to face too much from the business standpoint, but from a business standpoint, you don't have to hire a big name to play Shocker. You can hire a small name to do a good job.
You've already got your Shocker. The when they killed the fake Tom Hardy. When they killed the fake Tom Hardy and the one thing, and then the other guy's like, congratulations, you're the new Shocker. And it's when Adrian Toomes.
Well, yeah, I just want to bring that up because Sinister Six is huge. So we were talking about families like Eternals, Inhumans.
Sony's
Fantastic
been wanting
Four.
to do it for a long time.
They wanted to do it with Andrew Garfield. That was the original plan with Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Which is why
they did, because
the Amazing Spider-Man 2's credit scene was walking through with Doc Ock.
Yeah, I forgot his name. It's like not the Minuteman, but
and then Rhino shows up.
Yeah.
And Rhino was gonna
There was Vulture wings too.
Vulture, Doc Ock, and Rhino were all confirmed to be part of.
Then there was Lizard and Electro or something like that. So you had
it was all gonna be, and then it didn't do well.
They scrapped the third one, yeah.
And then Emma Stone was gonna be Gwen, but they killed her off. So
yep.
They were gonna replace Gwen with a Mary Jane.
Yep, and it was supposed to be Shailene Woodley.
Yep. I don't think Shailene would have been. Maybe she would have done great, but I don't think she would have been the right casting for that.
Yeah, it was between Shailene Woodley and Emma Watson. I think maybe we'll get that. Maybe we won't. Who knows?
Emma Watson's retired from acting, so it won't be that. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I want to see where they go from it. I'm very excited. I just want to throw that out there because Sinister Six is the right decision, and it's just another example of Marvel doing the right thing.
Yeah. And here's the thing: if in the Spider-Man movie, so this Spider-Man movies, they get the MCU gets to use Spider-Man, but Sony gets to use a premier character, a premier MCU character. So who would be that premier MCU character? Because you got Tony Stark in the first one, you got Nick Fury in the second one, you got Doctor Strange in the third one.
I don't know who they could choose from.
Shang-Chi, you get your spider senses or spider whatever.
I don't know.
Way of the Spider.
I mean, that'd be cool. I'm not sure. That'd be up to Kevin Feige.
That's why he gets paid.
So the last thing before we get on to our miscellaneous news, we would like to cover What If episode, I think it's 8.
Yep.
8, which is Infinity Ultron or Ultron Infinite or whatever. Ultron wins. What if Ultron won in his timeline and he was able to put his consciousness in Division's body and take over, beat Jarvis? I said that this was probably the second best, if not the best episode yet.
Yeah, it was really good.
From a what if standpoint, amazing. And by the way, before we get started, I am not going to do a full breakdown of the episode. I think that's boring. I've been rewatching our podcast back, and I almost want to skip through it myself when I'm going over it. So we're not going to do a breakdown until I can afford buying the rights to like the clips and stuff. I don't want to do the breakdown. But I think from a what if standpoint, it was slightly better than T'Challa, which I said T'Challa and Doctor Strange so far, I've said have been the best from a what if standpoint. Like, what if this were to happen? I think T'Challa has been my favorite from that point, and I think it was better from that. And then I think from a story standpoint, the Doctor Strange one has been the best, and I think it competes with that, but it's not quite as good as the Doctor Strange story, which is why I put it at second best. But if you want to tell me that it was the best episode yet, I'm not going to fight you on it because it was that good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Part of that is because Ross Marquand, one of our guys we've mentioned,
one of our favorites,
3 episodes already.
Yeah,
he was the voice of Ultron, so he voiced Red Skull in What If. He played Red Skull in Endgame, and now he voiced Ultron. So congrats to him.
Infinity War, and Endgame. He was in both.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
Very talented. We're huge Ross Marquand fans on this podcast. So
I think it's Stans. I think that's what you're supposed to stand now.
Stans?
You're not
Sebastian.
We're Sebastian Stans of Ross Marquand.
Got it. Another thing, I don't want to take away from James Spader's voice
because he is the only good part about that movie.
Yeah, he was his voice with Ultron was just perfect. Yep. But Ross did amazing, as he always does.
Absolutely. I had a few takeaway from the episode. Basically, the big thing that got talked about immediately was when Ultron wins, he kills everybody on the planet.
Yep, he launches all the nukes. The only assumedly, is that a word? Assumedly?
I'm not a
I'm going to use it. Assumedly.
Yeah. If you use it confidently, nobody will question you.
Assumedly, that's totally 100% not correct. But
assumedly.
Assumptuously?
Don't give a shit, man.
All right. Black Widow and Hawkeye survive because they're in a bunker or something. So
the main reason they survive is because they're who the story is focused around.
Oh, plot armor.
Yep.
Got it.
That's in my opinion. They don't explain it, so
yeah.
If you're not going to explain it, I'm just going to assume.
Were they flying? They were flying. I mean,
Sentinels can fly too, can't they?
Sentinels don't exist.
So I'm just saying it was plot armor. Got it.
Perfect.
I am HO.
Okay.
But yeah, so he destroyed the whole planet, and he feels like at peace. But then Thanos shows up, and this is what got talked about, because Thanos shows up in the same way he shows up like through the portal, and he's got the Infinity Stone with 5 stones. And Ultron just looks at him and he goes, interesting. Slices him in half with the Mind Stone, and I was like, I was on my couch, and I was like,
yeah. Oh.
Yeah, and so he instantly kills Thanos, and then takes the 5 Infinity Stones after melting the Infinity Gauntlet. Like, how powerful is Ultron? Like, it's insane.
Yeah. What's the Mind Stone?
Even just with the Mind Stone, he's able to melt the Infinity Gauntlet, which that's pretty crazy. But then he puts them on and realizes that there's a whole universe, a whole galaxy universe of planets he can destroy, and then has the same mentality as Thanos, except instead of wiping out half the planet, the life, he wants to wipe it all. So he takes the 5 stones and like forms his own armor, which is how he becomes like Infinity Ultron. Now instead of looking like Vision, he looks like Ultron with Vision inside of him.
The Ultron mask,
and he makes himself a cape, similar to how Vision had made himself a cape at that point. And then he wins. He destroys Ego. He destroys every planet.
Xandar. He goes to the Sovereign.
And they're all at the same points in the movies. They're all at the same points in the movies where those planets are saved.
Yeah, like the Guardians are fighting that giant worm thing.
Except instead of winning, they get destroyed. And instead of Groot dancing and having fun, it's dark and dead.
Yeah.
And he blows up Ego, which means... So this is what I wanted to talk about. Ultron is so powerful.
He destroys a Celestial.
He destroys a Celestial. He destroys Ego. He killed Thanos, even though he had 5 Infinities. He killed him so fast. I think that was part of it. Thanos underestimated him, but like killed Thanos and then melted the gauntlet. Super powerful. Destroys a Celestial. Super powerful. And then Captain Marvel shows up.
Does the whole like Wanda to Vision thing and like nukes him into the ground, but goes with him.
She pushes him into the planet core.
Yeah.
And says,
Xandar,
basically starts talking crap like she's winning, like you need to stop now. And she's like pushing his head off.
And he's like, you've got spirit.
Right. But then he just kind of smiles. And he's like, you've got spirit. And then blows up everything, including her, which that planet exploded blue. So I saw the theory that major explosion of the planet was him blowing her up with the power of an Infinity Stone, because she's got the Tesseract energy in her. Yeah. And so people theorized that blue energy, because her planet was blue, was the Tesseract energy exploding.
Yeah.
He kills her.
Everyone from the initial blast, it was like a blue blast. Apparently a lot of people were like, it's Nova, because they were on Xandar. And I was like, they're not doing Nova yet, man. He will have his time, but
he'll have his time.
Not now.
But that was Captain Marvel going boom.
Yeah.
So then he says he feels at peace, but then he feels alone. But because there's no life in the universe, he can sense and hear and see the Watcher.
Uatu. Yeah, when you hit a certain kind of power point, like
there's
even
a level of
Strange.
consciousness.
Yeah, Supreme Strange had it too, where he hit this level of power and he could hear and see the Watcher too.
This isn't really superhero related, but I like illusion and magic and stuff like that. I think it's fun to watch. There are many mentalists and hypnotists that say that there is a supreme consciousness that everybody has the ability to tap into, which is how they read minds, and that everybody can train themselves to do so. That all they're doing, because like you and I are sending out messages right now that neither of us are paying attention to and can recognize, because we can't tap into that level of consciousness because we haven't practiced that. Obviously, some people might be listening to this and be like, oh my God, this guy's insane. But
they do that anyway.
They probably do. But I feel like it's also that, like, he's reached this supreme level of consciousness that with all the rest of the world gone, the only other consciousness he can tap into is the Watcher. Sure. So I thought that was really cool. The fact that he could see him, though, was very, like, I think it just shows how strong he is. And his goal was to get to the Watcher to find out. He's like, there's other places outside my universe, which is this whole thing.
Right.
He fights the Watcher.
Yeah.
Because he's able to break into the Watcher's dimension.
Yeah.
And
which is kind of like this dimension that's outside of all of these universes.
Right. You can see it's like a bunch of different fractals of almost looks like crystals, geos, similar to like what
Doctor Strange
is stuck into. All those like reflective surfaces is what he lives in.
That's where it's like safe to do magic too, is inside of these like spheres.
Which because he does that, they fight each other, and we get to see how powerful the Watcher is. Which is
cool. When he armors up,
he puts himself in armor. He launches Vision, who has 6 Infinity Stones, and he still not able to beat him, then they start fighting through a bunch of different dimensions.
Yeah, which is weird. I don't know if you saw this, but there's a lot of ties that these could be like Star Wars dimensions. Like they're like two of the places they went to where he got launched, either got launched into or they were fighting through, looked exactly like Star Wars like places.
I mean, it could be, that could just be an Easter egg. It could be a tie-in.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's just like a little Disney sucking itself off, because they often do that. I don't think it's anything to throw weight in. However,
I don't think so either. I think it's
I thought it was cool that Steve Rogers in one of the universes was getting sworn in as president.
Yep.
That was pretty sick. I thought that was really cool. Just wanted to talk about that because it's been talked about, so I don't need to go into details, but that was really cool.
And then I believe in that same universe, Ultron decides to take a bite out of it,
which looked just like Galactus.
Just like Galactus. It had to be like, they didn't do that. They did not do that on purpose.
At the minimum, that is a shout out to Galactus, because he bites into the whole, as a giant head that's bigger than the whole
exactly
galaxy.
Like when He Who Remains was explaining it, he was like, there's like a pizza here, and then there's a pizza here and a pizza here, and it looked exactly like one of those swirlies where it's like that's a place.
And Ultron was biting into it. He just, from the Watcher's dimension, he was accessing that to be able to bite into the entire universe.
Yeah.
It was very cool. From a cinematic, artistic standpoint, that was awesome.
I was like, that looks just like Galactus.
Which I saw a couple people talk about it, but I also immediately thought that was another example, like just how powerful this is. Like, we've talked about who's the most powerful being in the MCU that's currently been established. Infinity Ultron.
Yeah.
Stronger than Scarlet Witch, stronger than any other person we've seen.
This is what the Age of Ultron should have been. What could have been. This is
in the comics. This is similar to what happened, except in the comics, Wolverine goes back in time, and Wolverine is the one to save them, because he decides to. I can't remember exactly how he does it, but Wolverine goes back in time,
pulls a Days of Future Past, and
saves the world. But they're not going to bring in Wolverine yet. Not for this time around, at least. But yeah, I definitely want to talk about how powerful Ultron was and the Watcher. But he does, in the end, kind of defeat the Watcher.
Yep, he's about to get his head cracked open, but he summoned enough power to like uppercut Ultron and then escape through portal or wherever he went.
And then Ultron says he doesn't really care, because now he can access the rest of the universes and is gonna try to wipe out all life in all universes. And so the Watcher goes to the Infinite Supreme Strange and his little geode, and they're talking back and forth, and Supreme's basically saying, are you ready to break your vow
of not interfering
with any universes and help? And they have a little banter. He's like, I need you to say it. Strange's like, yeah, I need you to say it, because Strange is still Strange.
Yeah.
And basically he's asking him for help, and they're gonna, for the final episode.
I mean, our Doctor Strange is in there. Like, our good Doctor Strange is in
right. He's just
Strange,
part of a bunch of different.
Yeah, he's not
hundreds of demons.
Yeah.
But one thing I thought was really interesting there, or a few things. So from the trailer, if you've been paying attention, we all knew the season finale was going to be the Watcher opening portals and bringing all these different beings, because that's been shown a million times. So this is they kind of spoiled the finale, which is kind of weird, but it's clearly all these different universes from the Watcher all being brought to help defeat Infinite Ultron.
So you're going to get...
But because they're from a bunch of different dimensions, I'm guessing there's going to be a good amount of death.
All right.
I think there's going to be some dispensable heroes here and there.
You're going to get...
I wouldn't be surprised
Supreme
Thor dies.
Like Captain Carter, T'Challa.
In the previews, there's Gamora, Star-Lord,
Gamora
T'Challa.
with her armor.
I've seen T'Char-Lord.
Captain Carter.
Yup. And except Captain Carter in the trailer had a brand new UK captain. She's completely changed there. But anyway, I think you're going to see all those. Another person that I thought seemed very powerful was Zola, because they thought he'd be able to beat this Ultron.
Yeah,
from a mechanical standpoint.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a little thing. They're showing that Zola is alive in the MCU live universe as well. So, and because they're pushing Hydra so much in all these shows, I think we're gonna see Zola come back.
Yeah, he's never gonna come back in person, but like he's in a computer system.
But he might come back in some sort of vision, like maybe he goes into White Vision. Like you never know. Yeah. Like, we could see Zola come back in a very strong way, so could be cool. But my big takeaway, which I also haven't. So here's why you watch this podcast. Like, here's something that I thought about that I haven't seen other people talk about. The Watcher took a vow, right? Vow that he would not interfere with other universes. A vow is something that you take from a leader standpoint. Like, if you break that vow, somebody's there to punish you. Yeah. Who's the vow? Who is he taking the vow for? Who is above the Watcher? Because the Watcher has enough power to fight off somebody with 6 Infinity Stones and access multiple dimensions, constantly watch. Like, so he's above the Celestials already. He's above. Who is he taking his vow for? And are they going to bring that into the MCU at any point? And it's like that. There's always a bigger fish. Somebody is telling the Watcher, or making sure the Watcher doesn't step out of line.
Right.
And I want to know who that is, because if you tell me who that is, I want to see them come into it. So I thought that was the biggest thing for me was he took a vow, and I want to know who he took that vow for. So I put down my favorite things for the episode: Steve Rogers as president, the level of power from Ultron, and the Watcher, and Zola.
Yeah. I guess the one thing I'll add is I wanted to mention the when Hawkeye sacrificed himself to save Nat and Zola.
It was flip of Infinity War Endgame.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cool. Clint Barton lost his arm, his right arm, so that got blasted off.
And that way he had the mechanical fingers that allowed him to line up like 5 arrows and shoot each one individually. Yeah. A lot more like the comics. This was the best version of Hawkeye we've had.
It's also the best version of Captain Marvel we've had. And Ultron.
It's crazy what happens when you can animate a show. Yeah. You can do so much. So I'm excited to see this final episode. I think it's going to be amazing. I've seen a lot of positive reaction from this one. A lot of people are saying this is the best episode yet. It's kind of, I think a big part of that is because it's showing the direction of the show. Like, I originally thought that each season was going to take the continuation of each episode. Right. It was a bunch of straight lines. But it's clear, like, this last episode tied all those lines together.
Sure.
And like I've been wanting the whole time, we get to see the Watcher. We get to see the Watcher's powers. We get to see what they're doing. I need to know, where did he take that vow? Who do you take that vow for? Because that's who I'm interested. I'm thinking it's just like when you hear a company make a decision, follow the money. Who are they making that decision for, and why? Why is he taking this vow? Who is he so scared of if he breaks this vow? Like when Nat and Hawkeye are looking for Zola in that National Archives record, and he wants to show them where it is but chooses not to tell them before Ultron finds him. Why is he so scared to help them? Like, why didn't he just help them? Because there's somebody that would punish him. Right. But
yeah, and then I guess my other big takeaway was the Galactus scene.
And the Galactus. So there were some awesome Easter eggs, awesome little clips from it, and loved this episode. Very good.
Great cinematography when it just came to
this whole show has been. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but every episode the Watcher has gotten closer. Yeah. In the first episode, he was just a silhouette, and then he got closer and closer.
He's basically right behind Nat and Hawkeye, like right there. It's right there.
Yeah, it's right except there. Episodes. So in the leak of when episodes were coming out, 7 and 4 or whatever seemed flipped, and in those episodes, he was in the wrong order of how close. Instead of getting closer and closer, he went doom 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 like.
Oh, really?
So it was clear the episodes did actually get swapped.
Got it. That would make more sense, too, if you did the Doctor Strange one right before this one.
Because it's supposed to be Party Thor, zombies, then Party, or zombie Party Thor, and then zombies later. And he was.
I thought zombies was 5.
He was way closer.
Doctor Strange was 4.
Well, like, whatever. He was closer when he was supposed to be further. So.
Got it.
Yeah, thought that was cool. Cool. When we come back, we'll go over our miscellaneous section, and then we'll send you all on your way. That was it for What If. I hope you guys enjoyed that a little better than the breakdown. I think that discussion is much more fun and interesting. And honestly, I feel like it was easier for me to talk than to just be like, and then this happened.
Yeah. I think hitting the big points, that kind of what we got excited about, I think is a great idea. Right.
And people have other channels. Like, I'm fine. They say don't send people to your competitors. But, if you want to see a breakdown, a really good, if you don't care about reactions and discussion about the comics and like the deeper sections of Marvel, Heavy Spoilers and New Rockstars do great breakdowns of each episode. Yeah. So feel free to check them out.
New Rockstars fan. You like Heavy Spoilers. So.
Yeah. So if you're watching this and you're a fan of us, I mean, if you want an in-depth breakdown where you can watch clips from it, both of those guys do a great job. So, feel free to watch them. But if you want discussion and you find us entertaining, stick around, because it's going to be, for the future, probably shows like Hawkeye and She-Hulk and those sorts of things, Miss Marvel. It's probably going to be more like what we just did from here on out. Now we're going to jump into our miscellaneous section before sending everybody on their way for a great weekend. Let's start with, you mentioned Bastion and Sombra and Overwatch 2.
Yeah, so I don't think Overwatch 2 is going to come out for a long time, just because we talked last time Sonny left the project or whatever, the dude that was leading it.
The primary developer, designer.
Yeah, so he left it, and I don't think they haven't had a new Overwatch character in a year and a half, because they've been focusing on Overwatch 2, but then Overwatch 2 keeps getting delayed and stuff. So, however, they got some new guy running the whole production, and they gave updates on Bastion and Sombra and how they're going to look in Overwatch 2. So I'll start with Sombra because there's less going on. If she hacks somebody, which, is kind of like her kid. If she hacks somebody, they are visible, like as in like a red target, a red outline. So like you can see like to your team, they're through walls. So if she hacks the one person, they are visible through the wall. Hacking is faster on like points, like health packs and stuff.
Okay,
I believe. And then she can now. Here's the big one. Here's the big Sombra change.
She's already strong.
Yeah, she can hack while invisible
and stays invisible.
She stays invisible. However, while she's hacking, she has like a silhouette of herself. Like she's
that's like nuts.
So in other words, her like opacity raises. So instead of being like invisible, she's like 50% opacity. So like she's kind of see-through, but not really.
So if you're one-on-one versus Sombra,
you better hope you can turn and hit her while she's hacking you.
Otherwise,
to get her out of
gosh, she's already strong.
Yeah.
Like people with strong mechanics on Sombra are so annoying.
Yeah, you can do a bunch of. You've got your throw pack thing, which can teleport you. You've got the speed boost. Like you can.
Sombra was somebody I was picking up before I stopped playing.
Sure. And then Bastion got basically completely reworked.
Good.
That's what you say now. So his gun was very similar to Soldier. His like basic attack was like so instead of having a like automatic rifle, it's going to be like a single shot or like semi-automatic. So it's like which allows him to be kind of like a mid-range like sniper, kind of like, I don't know, just as like not as far back as Widowmaker and McCree and Hanzo, but not as close as like Sombra, Tracer, Soldier, stuff like that. So it's kind of in that mid-range. It allows him to like kind of pick people off from the back or from like the middle range. He has the secondary fire, which is like a bouncing grenade. Okay. It'll bounce and then it'll stick to somebody and it'll explode and do damage.
Sticky
things around. Yeah. And then his other ability, so he's got the grenade and he's got I think he might still be able to heal. I don't know.
Repairs himself.
Yeah, I don't know if he can do that still.
Because he turned himself into a sentry, he could repair himself, and then he had his regular fire.
All right, so do you remember his ultimate?
Yeah, turn into a tank
cannon, like a tank cannon, and be able to ride around.
Yeah.
So his sentry mode, his like where you can just go stationary and go 300 bullets. That is combined with his moving mechanic on his tank. However, there's a cooldown.
So he can now, when he uses his ult, he can move around as the sentry.
No. That's just his ability. He can move around as the sentry, but it's on a cooldown. It's on a cooldown.
So that's not a complete rework. That's just a complete buff.
Yeah. Okay. And now, but he doesn't have the cannons thing. He doesn't have the.
That doesn't matter. But
now his ult is he turns into an artillery gun, a mortar, and he can launch 3 bombs at locations as long as he can reach them. So like it's like he shoots. He goes.
How big is the bomb?
I don't know.
Because if the bomb's not very big and it's it's not necessarily easy to navigate, I think that's a good change. I think because his tank was too strong before, his cannon was, but the movable sentry.
It's going to be more disgusting with like a Zarya. If a Zarya hits a bomb and you drop 3 mortars on the same spot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's. I think it's a good change.
I mean,
if you're gonna change a character so much, you'd think you'd do more.
Bastion was so one trick. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you would just be like, all right, if we can get ahead at a certain point and get our Bastion set up, it's boring.
Yep,
You know what I mean?
Bastion was boring. Bastion was often, if you were in like a normal queue and if they were moving the cart and they had a Bastion on the cart surrounded by 3 shields,
Yeah.
often people would just quit.
Yeah, you couldn't do anything. So
That's interesting. When you said it was a complete change, I expected more of a change than that. I expected like a character rehaul, but that's more of just a like, how can we make this?
there's
better?
another interaction with Sombra and shields now too, but I forgot what it was. So
Sombra was already too strong, so that's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
But then again, I was also Diamond, so
yeah. We were both like Diamond and Lucio balls.
When I finished my ranking placements in Overwatch, I was high platinum on my very first placements.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I maybe like could be a little bit of cockiness,
Right.
but like maybe I was just very good at the game. So there are certain characters that seem too strong, but Sombra was one of those that's just already too strong. So that's weird to me.
Yeah.
And whenever I played Sombra, I didn't have fun because it was too easy.
Yeah.
I like
Because you just had like an oh shit
skill.
card. Oh shit card. You would go in, and if you got in like you were stressed, you would just teleport back to your health pack that you hacked.
Right. That comes up in one, like you can just run back and forth on it and fully heal yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's another game, but this time it's newer. Pokemon Unite. I have yet to play it, even though Pokemon is my favorite franchise. Pretty crazy that I haven't played it, in my opinion, especially like people that know me. I've had people say like, you haven't played it yet.
Right.
But you play it.
Yeah. So I play.
And it's available on mobile now.
It's available on mobile, and or you could get an emulator and run it on your PC. You can link the same account. You can link any account. So like you could have your account on Switch. You could link that same account on your phone and play and progress at the same time.
Progress them both on your computer.
And it's cross compatible. So as long as I add you as a friend, I can play with you if you're playing on Switch, or I can play with you if you're playing on mobile. I played with Sammy P the other day. We won both of our games, I think. So
cool.
Yeah, it runs super smooth on phone. You do have to have like the mechanics. Everything kind of happens really fast, so you have to.
From the games I've watched people like stream it, and from what I've seen, I feel like most of the people that stream it play Gengar.
I played Gengar and got my ass kicked. I did really, really bad. It was probably my worst game I've played.
I do know that they nerfed Gengar twice immediately because he was too strong. But anyway,
just bad probably.
I'm interested in the game, but every time I watch it, I don't know if it's for me. I want to try it out, but
I didn't know if it was for me. It's fun though. It is fun.
And I have the podcast and YouTube take up a lot of my time.
Sure.
So I really only have time for 1 or 2 mobile games to just in my immediate time, because usually when I'm not playing a game or taking care of my baby, I'm researching for the podcast or coming up with an idea for a YouTube video that I'd like to do in the future, like those sorts of things. Like I have a note that is super long on my phone, but it would have to be good enough to replace one of the current games I play.
Sure.
Which is hard. So I'll probably give it a try because this is a Pokemon game.
Yeah, give it a try. It's not bad at all.
But another game that's similar to it that we play. Actually, wait, no. Before we go into that,
there you go.
Another Pokemon topic that is coming out soon. Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is coming out, and Legends Arceus comes out next year in January. But Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl comes out either next month or November. I think it's November. Might even be next month. It's close. 2 more clips came out of it. And for Legends Arceus, for those of you that like Pokemon, it's what Pokemon fans have always wanted. Wild Pokemon can attack you. It's open world. Your Pokemon still follow you. There's different types of attacking. But this one and it's set hundreds of years in the past, which I think is weird because they have a phone Pokédex. I think that's really weird. I was hoping it'd be like a notebook and there was like a handwrite animation. When you found a new Pokemon, like a drawing. I thought that would be so much cooler, but it's like a little phone. But there's a new Scyther. Scyther is like it's like the Charizard of bug Pokemon. It's super popular. There's a new Scyther evolution that's a bug rock type named Cleavor or Cleaver. Cleaver.
Oh yeah, okay, I've seen this. I know
looks very, very cool. It looks like it's basically a new form. It's some sort of enraged Pokemon that you fight, and that's how you see it first. But it looks very, very cool. The new clips for those came out. I don't need to go into too much, but very excited for those games. I will be playing them on the gaming channel at Glaziar Gaming on YouTube, and it just looks so good. They look so good. Brilliant Diamond Shiny Pearl is Gen 4, which was when I thought it was too cool for Pokemon. I'd get judged for it. So Gen 4 was when I stopped watching and stopped playing, and then joined back in like Gen 6. So I've never played the Gen 4 games. So these will be my first times playing them. I'm really excited, and they look really, really nice. It looks like they're compatible with Pokemon Home. So if you play Pokemon Go, you can transfer your Pokemon from Pokemon Go to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl and potential Legends Arceus next year. So I love that, and I'm really excited for it. Should be really good. The artwork is cool, but Legends Arceus is gonna be massive and makes me massive, that's for sure. But anyway, another game that we love is League of Legends. We play it all the time. Udyr is a champion that has needed a visual update forever.
Yeah.
And his Spirit Guardian Udyr's ultimate skin has been what people wanted as his like base skin.
Yep.
Well, new Udyr is, first of all, he's jacked. He's huge.
Yeah.
Now he's shirtless, which I saw people weren't a fan of because they're sick of male champions being shirtless.
Set, Yone,
Varus. Like there's a lot of male shirtless champions. But anyway, Lee Sin,
Kane.
there's
Go on and on. Alistar.
So now Udyr's shirtless. And
Gragas.
he's super buff. Gragas, Braum. There's a ton. But now he has like tribal tattoo looking. He's got a big beard, and it's better than the Spirit Guard Udyr skin. It looks so good. I just wanted to bring that up because people have been waiting for it, and it looks super cool. But another thing that League of Legends did, which I did a reaction on the gaming channel. It's my most viewed YouTube video ever, except for my college project on my random YouTube account that I had to do. It had like 13,000 views.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I did it on white holes and black holes for my astronomy final. We were required to post it on YouTube, and there's a bunch of people commenting on it, like attacking me, and it had a bunch of dislikes. And I was like, and my first response was like, I did this for college, so go ahead and take this seriously, but I genuinely just did this for a grade, and I got an A, so I really don't care. that had like 13,000 views last time I checked it.
Nice.
But yeah, outside of that, like out of my actual like YouTube channels I care about, it has like 300 some views on YouTube. It has 400 views on Twitter. Arcane. League of Legends Arcane is a new animated series on Netflix that's coming out. It looks amazing. The artwork is beautiful. It looks
very
like
visually appealing. Yeah,
it's like a mix between Borderlands and like CGI. It's so cool looking. And Haley Steinfeld is going to be voicing the main character Vi. We mentioned that last week.
The other main character, Jinx. It's going to be set in Piltover. It's between these two sisters.
But they released certain the Jace was shown. Heimerdinger was shown.
Caitlyn.
So it's clear that Piltover and Zon, which I mentioned last week before the trailer came out. If they're doing Piltover, they're going to do Zon, and they're going to be doing Zon as well. So I like that. I think it looks really good, and it looks very story heavy, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I want them to build a story for all these different characters, similar to Journals of Justice.
I'm not sure what that is. I've never heard of that.
When they got rid of their story department because League of Legends was stupid in like 2014, 2015, when they thought, fans don't want this. Fans of the game aren't interested in this.
They want shirtless men and big boobs.
Right, let's switch Mundo to a e-boy instead of a crazy monster. But yeah, it looks really good. That's probably a show we'll be talking about, maybe doing episode discussions and stuff.
Sure.
So maybe it won't be that in depth like we do with Marvel, but
it's gonna be on Netflix, so we're gonna be able to binge it. So that's gonna be the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we finished Arcane.
So we finished Arcane. I know it came out last night, but it was so good. Well, Netflix has been doing a lot of weekly releases.
Have they?
Yep, like I don't know if you watch Great British Baking Show, but a lot of their new big shows, Witcher, they're only gonna do one episode
it's
a
smart.
week.
It's smart because
Disney Plus did it.
Yeah,
and it was successful. So, but yeah, so I think Arcane's gonna be a one episode a week thing.
Sure.
Just like I think Witcher 2 is gonna be one episode a week.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just want to talk about that. It's something that we want to give people a heads up. Probably we're gonna talk about it.
We'll definitely be stating all the characters that you know and that we see in them.
Yeah.
In there. So
other than that, that's all I got.
I got nothing left in my notes here.
All I have is you, the person watching. Yeah, you. You look
Don't
phenomenal.
point. That's rude.
You look phenomenal. Touch my tit. Yeah, you look phenomenal. It's probably because you've spent this, however long this podcast ends up being, watching us, feeling good, and realizing like if two hideous people can be on the internet that look like Joe
Like
and myself, that's how you look great. Just keep looking good and keep being cute like you're being. If you're enjoying this, if you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, kiss me, do whatever you want.
What was that last part?
I wanted to make cookies with you.
Oh,
Yeah, we enjoy this. We have fun. Love talking with you guys. I love this new, like, not breaking down, just talking about things we want to talk about and just going into like more interesting things. So if you enjoy it as much as we enjoy it, feel free to stick around and subscribe, like, follow us on Twitter so you get new updates, kiss me, do whatever you feel like doing, because we're gonna stick around. Only less than 10% of podcasts keep going. So thanks for watching. We will see you next time. You look amazing. And
thank you.
Whatever. And GG.
G.
Or as they would say in French, GG.
GG. Sound like I'm having an aneurysm. GG.